What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? I know I'm late, but if y'all only knew, my day has been insane. Child, between work, the gym, making my way back home, trying to watch this episode, take my notes. It's just been too much. It's just far too much. But we here. Okay. I'm gonna say hi to everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome to the channel. It's your boy Jeremy Speaks. And y'all are tuning in today for the Love and Marriage Huntsville review. Oh, you sent me a Cashapp? Hold on, let me see. Ray Robinson. One thing Ray Robinson gonna do is drop a bag on me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for this, not the super chat, but the Cashapp, Ray. It really does mean a lot. I appreciate whenever you guys feel feeling in your heart to, donate to the channel and stuff like that. But, we can chop it up a little bit and wait to the 5-minute mark and stuff like that. How y'all been? Listen, child, bitch, 30 is hitting me hard. I don't know about y'all. 30 is hitting me pretty rough. I just don't bounce back like I used to. Like I remember after I would leave the gym 3 to 4 years ago, and I went about to do whatever I was gonna do, like nothing ever happened. Came home, jumped in the shower, and whatever the case may be after that. But like now, child, I need to just sit down for a second and just think over my life. And then when I get home from work, I just be at home just contemplating, just looking over all of the things that happen throughout the day, just getting myself mentally unwound. Because I don't know if y'all know this, I talk about this all the time, but I have ADHD. So when I get home from work or after work, I have like crashes from my medication. So like it's hard for me to put together what I'm gonna say. It's hard for me to have like a lot of energy. I'm crashing, pissed off, irritated, and everything else. But like, child, I thought bitches was joking when they say wait until you turn 30. Because the 20s body ain't the 30s body. It's not. Now the 30s body is banging way more so than the 20s bodies was, but the recovery time is just not the same. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, bitch, I be drained. And that's exactly why myself, I can't be giving y'all like 3 to 4 videos a week, because bitch, ain't no telling how I'm gonna feel a certain day. And if I don't feel a chuckle in my spirit, I'm not coming on here to laugh. Bitch, I ain't coming on here to crack jokes if I don't feel it, Like I'm not no court jester. Like, I love to tell jokes. I like to bring happiness in people's life and shit like that. But damn, I have a life too. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like oftentimes people expect like YouTubers to just like be just uploading. Okay, I have to live. Damn it. I'm not saying that y'all are expecting that of me, but it's been comments that I've read over the past week or so that made me have to do a side eye, because I was like, I'm only one person and I have a full-time job. Everybody's job is different. Everybody's capacity is different. Some people can do damn near, like, for example, I always talk about Scotty. Scotty can work from 4 a.m., get off at 2 p.m. and be making videos for y'all until like 10 p.m. I can't do that. I can't. That's not in my wheelhouse right here. That's not me. But I'm just trying to do my best. I told y'all I was gonna try to step up my consistency this year, and I low-key feel like I have. I feel like I've been consistent. I miss weeks, but I was traveling during those weeks. But outside of those weeks that I was not traveling, I think I've been consistent with the uploads. So I'm proud of myself. Whew. All right. And we back. Love and Marriage Huntsville, the Huntsville of love and marriage. And in this episode, we have a whole bunch of things happening, right? We have bald-headed niggas and side hoes going to go shop for furniture at antique stores. We have people once again going to Kimmy and Maurice for life advice. We find out that Tisha kids, i.e. the oldest one, is also an asshole like his daddy is. Once again, Scott Manor ain't done yet. Don't look like it's close to being done. And then we also see, once again, Tisha creating triangulation between Ken and Marquez, and Ken basically wanting to take Marquez's kids into his own custody and take his family. All right, y'all. Let me pull up these notes so we can begin this. Whew. All right. Lord, give me strength. All right, put a 1 in the chat if y'all ready. Put a 1 in the chat. Let me know that y'all are prepared. Let me know that y'all are ready for this. And for those of y'all who are looking for the upload, the pre-recorded upload, I'm going to try to get that done tomorrow so it can be uploaded on Thursday. I'm going to try to make sure that the recordings are getting uploaded on Thursday. So, y'all do with that what you will. Okay, so I'm seeing ones. Okay, period. Let's get started. So we see Ken, Trish, Maurice, and Kimmy meet up for drinks. Ken says that it's good to meet up with friends. I was wondering, like, since when have these two people been y'all friends? Like, ain't this the same man that was riling you up to expose Trisha on the finale episode of last season? But I guess anybody could be friends nowadays. But, Ken is saying that he knows that they've dealt with something similar, so they can understand where they're coming from. So they asked Kimmy, so what you been up to? Kimmy says that they just finished renovating the downstairs home, and it looks like it's an Airbnb, right? So right after we get into that, like, can I just say this? I really don't like those type of friends who just really invite you out just so they can talk to you about their problems. Like, do you really even care what they going through? Like, Kimmy hair just started growing back. She's out here wearing an afro. Do we not have any other questions for Kimmy and Maurice? Is it just about y'all two? Trish and Ken are so draining. My God. But here we go. So Ken brings up the backyard party from last season for the kids' graduation, right? And says that he think that, he handled Marquez, pretty well. He says that he doesn't like getting upset, getting angry, because it takes him to another place. Because y'all know them big bufferino niggas be doing a lot of steroids allegedly, so they can be easy to anger. So I would hate to upset one of them motherfuckers too, but that's just me. But he goes on to ask Maurice for his perspective, because obviously Maurice is so knowledgeable, so wise, and just so advanced in the inner workings of marriages and in-laws and former wives, now baby mamas. Obviously, Maurice is a master at this. So he says, each time he thinks that they're moving towards a good space with Marquez, they end up having some steps back, right? Trisha says that he ended up walking in her home under the guise of bringing in Zaria and immediately got hostile with her guests. I was like, once again, Trisha is lying. That man was not hostile. That man did not walk in there hostile. Now, do I believe that he should have walked into her house unannounced? No. But my question is, if the man is saying that he came into the house to bring the daughter in, and by the time that we seen him when he was talking to Trish, the daughter wasn't there, does that mean that the daughter let him in? Or does that mean he just that the daughter walked in, closed the door, and then Marquez just walked in too? Like, I just don't understand what's being said here, if you ask me. Now, Ken says that he told Marquez that he needs to learn how to compromise and talk to Trish without getting aggressive. And this is after, I guess, Marquez had reached out to him about how he can learn how to communicate with Trisha better. So Maurice is in the confessionals saying that he likes to tread lightly when kids are involved. And he starts relating Ken and Trisha's situation to Kimmy, and I always forget that other lady's name, I guess the former wife. And he says that having contrition between the relationships is not conducive to the children. Y'all want to know something? Like, Kimmy and Maurice really don't be saying shit, if you really think about it. Like, they just be saying shit that's obvious. Like, I really don't understand why people be coming into this group thinking that Kimmy and Maurice are like this super wise couple. I just don't, I'm not getting that. Because the shit that they were saying, I was like, okay, yeah, it's not conducive to have the baby mama and the stepmama arguing. Like, duh. Child, I really can't. Like, y'all really got to stop going to these motherfuckers for advice. I just don't understand that. But let's continue. So Maurice says he hasn't been stepping up. And then he says, but he just stepped up, right? Trisha says, I told him that he did a good job. So Maurice says, okay, so he did one thing bad and one thing good. And then Kimmy goes in to say, the key to getting along is getting along. Oh, these people get on my fucking nerves. Oh my gosh. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Like, y'all not giving no damn advice. Y'all just saying shit. But y'all, whatever. So let me make sure I'm not skipping over. So Maurice begins to talk. And immediately when he begins to talk, Ken cuts him off because Ken got upset with Maurice. Let's be honest here. Ken got upset with Maurice when Maurice said, okay, Marquez did something good. So I think that's a little bit weird. It low-key feels to me that Ken really don't want Marquez to be a good daddy. It low-key feels that the more of a father Marquez seems to be, Ken seems to have to try to reinforce his position in the kid's life. It's just so weird. I don't like that. Now, a lot of y'all gonna tell me that I am tripping, that I am seeing things the wrong way, and that actually Ken is doing a stand-up job for stepping in as a father figure for these children. And I agree to that to some extent. Now, me personally, when it comes to the children, taking care of them, reinforcing them, letting them know that they're in a safe place, letting them know that they have that support, I 100% commend Ken for that. But to me, it's weird how Ken is just so involved in the interdynamics between Trisha and Marquez's parenting. I just don't understand that. Because in my opinion, you don't have kids. You and Trisha barely even know how to communicate with each other. So you telling Marquez that he doesn't know how to communicate with Trish, it doesn't really make sense to me. Like, you was trying to communicate with Trish last season, trying to talk to her, and you were realizing that you couldn't. You realized that you couldn't. And you want to know what you did, Ken? You got aggressive. You got loud. You started blasting all of her personal business in the inner workings that y'all have went through in y'all relationship in front of America. So to sit here and act like it's not in the realm of possibilities for Marquez and Tisha to have issues communicating with each other is insane to me. Like, when the fuck did you and Tisha become master communicators all of a sudden? Because last year, y'all motherfuckers couldn't even tell each other the truth. Can we just admit that? Is it me? I know I'm not crazy. But let me continue. So Ken begins to say, you know, that every day, if you go to school and I'm there to pick up the kids, I'm the one that's being the active parent. I'm the one that's there. I'm the one that's present. Child, Maurice looks at him and then looks at Trish and says, at the end of the day, whether good or bad, Marquez is going to always be those kids' father and always be in their life. After that, Ken says, but at the end of the day, it's about respect. It's about respect. And he says the boundaries. And he says, it may be Marquez's kids, but that's his family. Those are his kids. That's his family. Child, I'm trying to be, you know what? Let me take a step back. I'm going to try my best to be objective about him saying that. Now, he's been in the kid's life for about 2 to 3 years. I guess that's long enough to be considered family. However, to me, the problem comes in where it almost feels as if Ken is saying that's his family, like he's the head of this family, and Marquez gotta go through him to contact and have a relationship with the kids. I don't really understand why he keeps saying that. Obviously, we understand that this is your family. You're living in the house with Tisha. You are living in the house with the kids. So we know it's your family, but those are Ken's kids. You saying that this is your family makes me feel like you want to make it a point to say these are more my kids than they are his. And honestly, that may be the truth because Marquez was gone for a while. But it begs me to ask, if you are saying that, then what is your motive behind it? When you say that, is it for the betterment of the kids? When you say that, is it conducive to the relationship that Tisha and Marquez are trying to better? Is it conducive to the children's mental health? Is it conducive to the dynamics, including Marquez? Is it conducive to that? I don't feel that it is. To me, it feels as if you are trying to bang on your chest and say, these ain't his kids no more, they're mine. I like to take Sierra and Russell as a example of how I think a stepfather can step in and be the father of the kids, because this man, regardless on how shitty, Future is, he's not going online dragging him. He's not on a TV show dragging this man, because his focus are the kids. And he understands that the dynamic between the biological father and the biological mom is within themselves. So he allows Sierra to comment on the parenting of Future. It's not him stepping in and talking about Future ain't shit. He ain't no present dad. That's for Sierra to say. That's the mother of the kids. You may be the step parent, But I just feel like the way that you're moving about this, it is rubbing me the wrong way. And I promise y'all, I am nobody that is having any type of sympathy for whatever Marquez is going through in his life, because he's the one who abandoned his family. I understand that. But I'm saying we're constantly complaining about Marquez not being a present father. Okay, well, he's trying to step in and be a present father, but then we have to make it a point to say that's not his family, it's my family. Although those may be his kids, this is my family. What's the point of that? How does that help anything? And I don't care what anyone says. Ken knows when he says that, it gets underneath Marquez's skin. Not saying that he even has to give a damn about what gets underneath Marquez's skin, but you can't act like you want a betterment of this relationship for the children while also continuously throwing digs about his parenting in the past. If you are trying to figure out how to navigate together to take care of the kids as one cohesive unit in the present. That to me does not make sense. Child, but let's continue. So Kimmy says that is weird that a parent would rather want the child to not like the step parent rather than the step parent having a good relationship with the child. And Kimmy, I completely understand where you're coming from with this. I 100% understand, but I just don't think that this is the same. You weren't getting online dragging Kyle. Just remember her name. That's crazy. Literally in this sentence. I don't even know how I generated that. But like you weren't coming online dragging the hell out of Kyle. Y'all had issues, but you kept that to yourself. And you were willing to work it out. You weren't throwing a whole bunch of digs at Kyle. Like Ken is constantly throwing digs at Marquez's absentee parenting. I don't understand this. Now, me personally, if I want the betterment of the kids, and I know the kids want their father in their life, and I know that this can be a very complicated relationship because I don't know all the inner dynamics between this current wife and husband, right? I can't just be going around interjecting myself into what I believe should be happening, what I think should happen. You know what I'm saying? Now, calling out the things that should happen, as point blank things, i.e. better communication, doing this, doing that is one thing, but the dynamics between Tisha and Marquez, to me, it really seems as if Ken is not getting the whole story when it comes to these two, me personally. But I'm going to just leave it at that. So we're going to move on to the next scene, Joe. Hold on, let me take my phone off of battery saver mode because it keeps on locking. Ciao. Martell is at the antique shop with Destiny looking for furniture, right? So he says that he's looking for furniture for his investment property and Arian is moving in and this will solidify their relationship. Destiny comes in and says, wow, actually, Jerica is helping me with my space. Yeah, like he says, oh, the space that we was at last time, she was like, no, actually, we moved from that top floor to the bottom floor. So now Madani is in a new place. And once again, here we go with Madani facts. I don't give a fuck. I don't fucking care. Why every single Destiny scene we have to be bombarded with Madani fun facts? I hate you bitches. Fuck you, Carlos. Fuck you. My God. Destiny asks, what is he looking for? And he says furniture for his new place because he's moving Arian into his new crib. Instantly, Destiny's face looked tight. I'm like, Destiny, why do you look like you pissed? Why do you look like you mad if he is gonna move in with Arian? Child, so Destiny says, excuse me, what? Like, it's almost giving like a bitch, excuse me? Like she's offended. I'm like, what is this energy for? Are you upset because if Arian moves in, you can't be sneaking into his house in the middle of the night and bouncing on his Peter Wacker? Is it because of that? Allegedly. Because that's what I believe. I believe y'all fucking. I believe that. You ain't gonna convince me otherwise. That's not. I know y'all trying to showboat this damn brother and sisterhood, but I know in my heart of hearts and in my opinion, y'all fucking, you ain't fooling me. But y'all, let's continue. So as she keeps repeatedly asking him about, are you serious about this? He says, well, no, I'm moving her into the investment property. I won't be moving in with her, until we get married. I'm like, first of all, why did you switch up your answer for Destiny? It's kind of weird. It was almost like you were scared of pissing her off. Why is that? Why would Destiny be pissed off? And why would you change what you said initially when Destiny asked you repeatedly with this pissed off look on her face if you really moving Arian into your house? It's almost given she want to be in that house. But don't kill me. I'm just telling my opinion. Okay? But moving on. He says that they not gonna get together until he gets married to her. I'm like, okay, so since when did we become traditional in that sense? Since when? So we can't live with the hoes that we fucking until we marry because that's what God wants. But God didn't want you to stop fucking other hoes raw when you was married already. But now we moving under the sanctity of marriage and we ain't trying to be shacked up. You niggas, sometimes I really can't stand Southern people. My God, it's just so much confliction in the stuff that they be saying. Child, Destiny starts to ask him, well, have you started looking for rings? He says a little bit. Destiny says, well, aren't you usually sure when you think you're going to propose to somebody? He says, well, damn it, I'm 43. Okay. And I am getting older by the day. We see him in the confessionals saying, Arian is wifey material. Wow. Since when? I thought, based on the last 4 to 5 to 6 to 9 to 8 seasons, however this is, chopped up, I thought she's been a peasant and a side hoe and dumb. I thought that's what she was based on what you said. But it's funny how after Melody leaves, now Arian all of a sudden is wifey material. He says that the respect is there. She takes care of him. She cooks for him, making sure the family is good. The simple things. That's what really matters to him. I was like, so basically a fucking maid. She's wifey material because she's a fucking maid. She cooks, she cleans, she take care of the kids. So not only is she a maid, but she's also a mammy. She's a mammy and a maid. How amazing is that as wifey material? And it's so crazy to me how you're saying that she's wifey material because of those superficial base level things that just cater to you and take the responsibility of you doing anything yourself out of your hands. That's why she's wifey material, because you can throw the burden of your family, cooking your meals, taking care of you like you a fucking baby, all on this girl who's a dumbass bird brain with braces at 39 years old. Not because you think that she's your soulmate, not because you think that that's your person, not because y'all emotionally are compatible, not because y'all are spiritually compatible, not because y'all have a friendship between the two of y'all, because she can take care of you and do all the shit that you don't really feel like doing. That's what marriage is for y'all niggas. Listen, I'm trying to tell y'all, and I'm talking to the women out there. Listen to what this man is saying. This is how majority of these niggas think. When y'all get into a marriage, if you wifey material for them, it means that they will throw everything in your fucking lap, meaning that you're going to be doing the dishes, you're going to be doing the laundry, you're going to be waking, taking care of the kids, cleaning the kids, going to the school, you're going to be cooking, you're going to have to have sex, you're going to have to do that. You got to rub their feet, tell them how amazing they are. And when he said she respects me, it's almost like he's saying, well, she bigs me up. She blows smoke into making me feel like I'm an amazing man, even though I'm not. She lifts me up and gives me all of the delusion that I need to survive in this life. That's what I need. Why are you in the kitchen? So basically, just taking care of him makes you wifey material. How sad. How sad and how pathetic. I would hate to be in some type of marriage like that. My God. And I just really want women to understand that the whole build of marriage is for your suffering. Honestly. And I'm not saying that every marriage is like that, because there's a lot of men who marry and have good intentions. But there are so many men who are married to women, and the women are literally doing everything, and it's all under the guise of this pseudo Christianity bullshit of I take care of the household and he's the provider, knowing damn well in 2025 both you bitches will need to survive and need to provide. Because unless you making over like $300,000 to $400,000, baby, I know damn well ain't only one person under the household working. I know that. And on top of that, she's trying to go to school. And he's about to pay for her to go to school so she can start working. So not only does she have to cook, take care of the family, take care of you, clean, give you all the respect you need, but then the bitch is gonna also have to go to work. But you also are waiting to move her in because y'all need to be married first. So that's traditional, but the other shit ain't. That's the shit I be talking about. You see, y'all want traditional values in certain aspects that benefit you, but in other aspects, y'all motherfuckers want to be modernized. See, when it comes to taking care of you niggas, y'all want to be super traditional. I need me a submissive woman. But when it comes to you having to provide everything on your own for this dynamic that you want, that's so traditional, all of a sudden, hoes is gold diggers. All y'all hoes want is money. I ain't no bank. What you talking about? You can go to work too. It's a free country. We in 2025. But what happened to all the traditional shit? What happened to all of that? So, moving on. So he goes into saying that he's also still trying to get over the divorce between him and Melody. And he says that every day that he has to look at his 4 children. I was like, Martell, you're not with those kids every day. He says he's thinking about the kids. Like, girl, Destiny says, this is why I tell you that you need to go to therapy, because you're thinking about this woman every single day. You're stuck. Like you need to get over this. Martell is going to say in his confessionals that Destiny should understand what he's going through since she's been through a similar situation. And it low-key sounds like he's trying to say that Destiny cheated. To me, that's what it sounds like. So you saying she cheated and got left too, so she should understand how hard it is to get over it. Girl, I just really can't. And then Martell is gonna tell Destiny, you need to let me show you how to get a man. Let me teach you how to get a man. She bust out laughing, but in my mind, I was like, well, what do you mean? What's the lesson? What's the curriculum of this lesson? What you gonna teach her how to do to get a man? And how you gonna teach her how to do it? Huh? I think that's an important question that we all need to ask. What is this lesson on how to get a man and how to keep a man? And what are you gonna do to teach her how to do those things? Moving on, child. But we're at Scott Manor, i.e., concrete slabs and steel beams with no foundation. And we see Marceau saying in the confessionals that they purchased 10 acres of land, 200 foot in elevation behind a lawn quarry. They had to blast the ground to put in the steel beams. So no, Scott Manor ain't gonna be a house, it's gonna be a mansion. But when the mansion gonna come? Huh, Marceau? When is the mansion gonna arrive? Like, when we gonna get there? Because all I see is sticks, a little steel beam here and there, little concrete slab here and there, and just open space. Child, it looked like you building that house in a landfill. Honestly, all the area surrounding this property looks ugly as shit. It looked ugly as hell. Are you also gonna pay for the upkeep for the forest and everything else? Because I promise y'all, when I was looking around the foundation of the house, I was like, it looked like they're surrounded by trash. Now then again, for some reason, when it comes to Oprah Winfrey Network and the resolution of these episodes, I don't know what type of camera that they're using. But the cameras are cheap because I feel like it's always a little blurry. Like it's never like real clear. Am I the only one that notices that? So moving on. So Letitia pops up and says, wow, look at it. Look at all of this. She tells us from 2019 to where they are now, it's so cool to see how much they've accomplished in the building. And she says that she sacrificed a lot. She says that her and the 3 kids are all sharing one damn bathroom. You sharing a damn bathroom with 3 children. You a grown-ass woman, the mother of your household. And you got to share your bathroom with 3 kids. That's sad. I hate that for her. I be feeling bad for Tisha because I know a lot of the fan base don't like Tisha, but a part of me really does. I think low-key Tisha is now the Mel Gone is the most likable one there. Y'all already know how I feel about Kimmy. Y'all already know how I feel about Maurice. Y'all already know how I feel about Marceau. Y'all already know how I feel about Trisha and Ken. To me, Tisha, out of the remaining cast, is the one that I like the most. And I really be feeling bad for her when she tells us all of the fuck shit that Marceau is making her endure. Why are you making your wife share a bathroom with 3 children? Why is she even in a space where y'all can't even have 2 bathrooms? One for you and then one for the kids. It's just the disregard for her and her needs that really pissed me off, because this woman really loves this man. Really loves this man. And you can see how much she just wants him to be happy. But I never feel like I see that in return towards her. I don't think he ever really cares about her needs, her happiness, her wants, her dreams, her goals, her aspirations. It's all about him in that fucking underbite. I don't like that nigga. My God. But Marceau starts talking about how good their kids are, and he says MJ is turning 18, getting ready to go to college. He asks Tisha, well, how do you feel about him, leaving? I'm trying to figure out where he's going to go to college. I think he should go to Michigan. Tisha says, of course you think that he should go to Michigan because that's where you're from. I would prefer my child to be closer to me in proximity in case something happens. Child, y'all two-parent households, y'all really got to start letting your kids like go and live their own life. Doing shit like that and constantly wanting to keep y'all kids like cooped up in the same city as you really does make them irritated and really want to distance themselves even more. Y'all have to allow y'all kids the ability to grow and thrive and learn and be their own person, and trust that the things that you taught them, the things that you instilled in them will lead them along the way as they grow into a full-fledged adult. You shouldn't want to be there to constantly catch them when they fall. If he gets his ass locked up, if he does something wrong, he's going to have repercussions for that. He's going to learn that lesson. And you be there whenever he calls or whenever he needs and give him some advice. Don't let the nigga use you, because some kids like to call their parents to bail them out of everything and also give them everything. But I'm saying, like, just be there if he needs you. Don't try to force this overprotective motherhood care on somebody that's a grown-ass man. You know what I'm saying? So it might be hard to let him go, but you got to let him go. So Tisha says that the house isn't, at its peak. And Marceau says, well, that's because we finished in 3 properties. I got the house over here, got a house over there, got a house over there, got a house over there. And he says, and they almost all done. I'm like, are they? It's done in the room with us, because I swear I just don't see done. But he says that he's almost done on Kimmy's property, but he's getting mixed communication between Kimmy and Maurice. Tisha says, well, if it's Kimmy's project, you should just be listening to Kimmy. And then Maurice, hearing Tisha say, maybe you should listen to Kimmy since it's her project, he says, I hear you, but I don't know. It's just hard. I understand, but it's just for some reason, I can't decide who to listen to. I know it may be Kimmy's property. I know Kimmy might be paying for it to be finished. And I know it may be Kimmy's project, but I just don't know which of them to listen to. I just don't know. It's just hard. You mean it's misogyny? That's what it is. It's misogyny. Just go out and say it. It's misogyny. You don't want to listen to Kimmy because she's a woman. I hate the fact that niggas like you are still existing in this world today. I really do. I feel like y'all bring nothing but pain and misery wherever y'all go. I never in my life have been able to understand where this whole, misogyny, xenophobia, racism thing. I just don't understand that. Why do we feel the need to discriminate against people for being born something that they had no control of? Why do you feel that listening to a woman is inadequate? Why do you feel that way? Why do you feel that because you're a man and because your brother is a man that's the word that you should be listening to more? Why do you feel that way? Why? It literally is so non-logical. It's unlogical. It has no basis. It literally creates a system where you just want to perpetually and systematically hinder women in their voices just to make yourself feel stronger. And most 9 times out of 10 men who feel that they need to do that to women are insecure, unattractive, and feel that if a woman has the same level of octave that they have as far as getting their words out, it's going to somehow inhibit them being heard as well. So only you can be heard, but the women can't be heard. They just need to shut up. I'm gonna just listen to my brother. I don't know who to listen to. The fact of you saying that, and the fact that you are literally trying to showcase you being this house builder. I don't know what y'all call them things, builders. For you to literally say on national syndicated television and with this huge fan base of women that you can't listen to Kimmy about what she wants for her property, lets a whole bunch of women know that if they were to hire you to build something for them, you wouldn't listen to them either. But you're too much of an idiot to understand that. You don't even hear what you're saying because you're so pompous. You just think that you're the smartest one in the room, like your punk ass brother. I really don't like you niggas. But let me continue. So, Tisha says that she wants her brokerage office done first. He reluctantly says it's going to be done. Tisha says 30 days. He says 30 to 45 business days. And for those of y'all who don't know, 30 to 45 business days can range from 1 month to 3 to 4 months, depending on if there's holidays, government holidays, weekends in between, all of that. That can be stretched out. A lot of people don't understand that business days is completely different from just regular everydays. So Tisha says, they've been through a lot, with family passing away, COVID. She wants to have a celebration. Marceau is like, oh yeah, celebration. That sounds like fun. She's like, yeah, and I'm thinking about inviting my mom, and because she has a food truck now, she has that up and running. And he says, I thought you were on to something, but you're not. Anytime it's in regards to Marceau and Wanda, I'm always gonna take Marceau's side because Wanda is ignorant as hell. And then Tisha says this. She says, I actually want my mom to move into this house. I was like, girl, this house ain't gonna never get built. I was like, right after you said that, Marceau said, okay, period. I'm never finishing this house. It will forever be a slab full of sticks, concrete, and steel beams. If you think I'm going to finish this house and your mama moving in with us, I was like, Tisha, you should have waited after he finished to say that, not before he finishes. Baby, if he ain't going to extend this project out to 2035, I know something. So let's get on with it. So Marquez meets up with Maurice, right? He said that, and when I say he said, Maurice says that after meeting up with Tisha and Ken, it made him want to hear Marquez's side of the story. He says that dealing with divorce himself, he understands that there's always two sides to the story. I'm like, no, it's not two sides, it's always three. Your side, their side, and the truth, but you probably don't give a damn about the truth because you're a liar anyway. So you only care about one person's side, and it's usually the man's. But go off, sis, I guess. So Maurice says, you know, how long are you going to be in town? And Marquez gives this weird answer, you know, however long I need to be. And then Maurice says, okay, that for real, that's what you're doing. Cool, whatever. I thought it was really weird that Marquez couldn't really answer how long he was going to be in town. I was like, you could have said, you know, I'm going to be here for a few more years. I'm going to be here for a couple of months. It was just very ambiguous to me. Marquez tells us that he's glad to be meeting with Maurice because he wants him to know how the divorce is going down. I'm like, well, why? You're not even friends with him. You barely even know this man. Didn't you only meet him one time? Why do you want him to know how your divorce is going down? It seems to me that you want to go walk around to talk shit about Tisha to people. And I just don't understand that. I don't get that. You doing the same thing that Trisha's doing. Like, why do you feel a need to even have this conversation with Maurice? I was confused why Ken and Tisha was having a conversation with Maurice them damn selves. So he says that he went in to sign the divorce papers, but they put that they don't have minor kids, so he didn't sign. He tells Maurice that they don't have any attorneys and asks, well, do you have recommendations since you're an attorney? Maurice says, well, I don't really get into that. That's matters of the heart. And honestly, when it comes to divorce attorneys, they usually just spend your money up until the judge decides whatever he wants to decide. I'm like, all of that, and we still don't know what type of attorney you are. Is it because being a divorce attorney was probably, you know, too difficult for you, or is it that they just waste a whole bunch of money, or is it the fact that Kaya will probably beat your ass in court? I just wonder what that is, because I think that it's very rude and kind of backhanded for you to say that divorce attorneys are unnecessary. And you're an attorney yourself. So what if somebody said whatever avenue of attorney you are unnecessary? And you just take people money. Like, everybody is going to law school. Everybody is trying to get theirs. Don't disparage other attorneys because you didn't achieve the same things that they did. Girl, my God. So Maurice asks, is the main thing his children? He says, yes, but also the main thing is the problem I have with Trish. I say, see, no. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. You and Trish's relationship shouldn't be the main thing. It should not be. I feel you and Tisha take pleasure in all of this shit that y'all be doing. I really do. It's very pathetic. It's very gross. Because you can easily text her, I'm coming to pick up the kids. Okay, cool, the kids coming. Or text Ken, since y'all motherfuckers be on the phone for 3 hours talking about God knows what, and tell him you coming to pick up the kids. Cool. Why do you and the mama have to get along? Y'all don't have to talk. Your kids are old enough to walk their ass out the house, take their bags, put them in your car, and for y'all to go and do whatever y'all need to do together as father, son, and daughter. What the hell do you mean that it's the other important thing is you and Trish? Ugh. These people get on my nerves. He says Trish is making it difficult for him to see the kids without having to force himself on her. I'm like, okay, if that is the case, what is she doing exactly? Like, so it's like, because the kids are old enough. Because I'm saying these kids are like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. They not like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can easily go and pick up your kids. You can ask your son, does he want to come over? Yeah, dad, I want to come over. And it's given to me that based on the interaction that y'all had last episode, that your kids are willing to come and spend time with you. How can Trish throw a wrench in that? At this point, they're old enough to make those decisions themselves. I just don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that when he says that. I'm sorry. That shit don't make sense to me. Maybe if the kid was like 5 or 6 or 4, but this is a whole 14 and 17, 18-year-old. What are you talking about? Trisha is making it hard for you to see your kids without forcing yourself on her. It's almost like you and her are using the kids as a beacon to try to extend this power struggle of who's right and who's wrong in the disintegration of y'all marriage. And y'all don't care if y'all are hurting these kids or not. And that's so tacky, so disgusting of y'all to do that, especially you, given the fact that you had left and abandoned your family in the first damn place. So the least that you can do at this point, is to be on an even kill and just do whatever you got to do to see your kids, regardless if that means kissing ass. Regardless if that means just swallowing your pride. Because at the end of the day, I need to be there for my kids. But you and Trish want to argue over ego and pride and who's the best, who's wrong, who's right, who's present, who's not, and completely lose the fact that y'all kids are the ones that are suffering. My God. But let's move on. So Maurice asked, all right, so like, do you and Trish communicate? He's like, no, but I do speak to to Ken. He says, oh, so did Ken reach out to you or did you reach out to him? He says, no, Ken reached out to me. And honestly, after having a phone conversation with him, I completely understood why it was so easy for Trish to fall in love with him, because he's just like her father. I mean, before I knew it, we were on the phone for 3 hours. I was like, 3 hours talking about what? Talking about what for 3 hours? Why on earth do you need to talk to this man for 3 hours? That doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand that. It's low-key giving y'all want to fuck and y'all have sexual tension between each other, but that's my personal business. I mean, my personal opinion. What's up, friend? How you doing? Child. So he says, well, Maurice tells him, like, okay, so we can point the fingers all day about who did what and who did this and who did that, but what do you think you did wrong? He says, well, I did wrong was not leaving after the first year. My dad was in my ear telling me that this won't work and that this woman is not the woman for me and our marriage is going to fail. And I felt a need to basically prove him wrong. And then before I knew it, it turned in from 1 year to 5 to 6 to 7 to 12 to 13 to 14. And then we here. Right? So he tells Maurice that Tisha still wants him, right? And he says that he was actually the one to file. And then Maurice says, but she filed too. He says, well, that's because Ken made her. She didn't want to file. If I wanted her right now, I could have her. He says, I actually gave Trish to Ken. What do you mean by that? And that you gave her to him? Like you have some type of fucking ownership of her. Like she's a fucking chess piece that you just moving around the board. What the hell do you mean that you gave her to somebody? It's that weird possessiveness, that weird ownership. Like you think that you own this woman. And after he said that, y'all, it made me look at things completely different. It's almost like he is causing hell on his part Because how dare you not be suffering? How dare you take care of these kids with another man and I'm not there, even though I don't want to be and I chose not to be? How dare you? I did not give you permission to do that. I gave you permission to be miserable in the house by yourself, taking care of our kids alone. So I'm going to cause as much ruckus as I can to make you and your new boyfriend and your new side husband nigga basically deal with me. It's giving that. Like, for you to say that, it was just so disgusting and so disrespectful. Child. Whew, girl, I'm almost done, thank God. So Maurice is saying that after hearing Marquez's story, he obviously is delusional and he does not understand that she don't feel the same way about you that you think that she does, bro. And the sooner that you come to terms with that is the sooner that you're going to be able to move on. Ralph, Martell, and Marquez are all three of the same. Them bitches can make a bald-headed bitch-ass version of Destiny's Child, if you ask me. I believe that those three people are carbon copies of the same person. They're all the same. They're all the same. Ooh, y'all get on my nerves on this show. But let's continue. So he says that, Trish used to be his best friend. And in his mind, what he sees in the future and what he would love to happen is, Xavier to move to where he's at, the daughter to keep on doing her, her dancing thing. So pause. So you're saying I'll take my son who's almost a damn near adult, but the child that I'm gonna actually have to raise can stay with Trish. Why don't you want the daughter? You, like, later on in this episode, you kept on talking about, I ain't gonna let my daughter carry no 3 bags in the house and two drinks. My daughter, but you'll leave the daughter feeling abandoned while you take the son and live with him. Why is that? You ain't real about the shit that you saying. You not, and neither is Trisha. You not really trying to take care of these kids. Because if you did, you wouldn't even said that. You would have been like, okay, we both have joint custody. They come over to my house 3 to 4 days out of the week, and they over to Trisha's house 3 to 4 days out of the week, both of them. But you made it a point to say, I want my son to live with me and my daughter to just continue in her dance. You couldn't even muster up the boldness to say the shit that you were actually meaning. That I want to keep my son, but the daughter can stay at Trish's house. Girl, give me like 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes. Give me like 10 seconds to gather myself, please, before I go into this last scene. I'm almost done. I can do this. I'm strong enough. I have it in me. I'm wise enough. I'm strong. I believe in myself. I can make it through this review. All right. So before we get to the last scene, we have one more scene. So Tisha and MJ are in the car. And she talks to her son about turning 18. She tells him that she wants him home. She's afraid he won't come back. She says that she wants to basically get a townhouse close to the campus to be around him more. And he said he will miss his dad more than he misses the mom because the dad is the pillar. Girl, Girl, child, we'll let your daddy make your ass a peanut butter and jelly sandwich then. Go ahead. And your ass gonna die of an anaphylactic shock. But he's the fucking pillar. Basically, all I learned from that was that also Marceau raised an asshole like himself. Because in that conversation, all he kept on saying, like, I mean, no, I just don't, no. I was like, shut your nerdy ass up, nigga. Shut up. Y'all gonna stop playing with Tisha, bitch. I promise y'all. Y'all ain't gonna keep on doing this to her. Y'all ain't gonna continue to hurt her feelings like this. I'm ready to windmill on you bitches. Including you, MJ. It's pissing me off. Because that shit, y'all, when he said that, it really looked like that shit hurt her. It really looked like that shit hurt her feelings. And I'm like, wow. So you don't give a damn about how your mama feel. I guess you so used to seeing your daddy disrespect your mama that you feel comfortable enough to do it too. That you don't even take her feelings into consideration. I don't even really vibe with my mama like that. Like me and my mama aren't like close or really talk, but I'm even more delicate with my mama feelings than he was in that conversation. Y'all, I was just I would hate to live Tisha's life. Because the way I would have snapped, and took everybody up out of there. Because y'all, everybody ain't gonna be playing. It's already enough that your daddy playing with me. And this nigga leave for 2 months. Leave the house for 2 months to go to Africa because he needs to clear his head. And I'm the one cooking your motherfucking meals. I'm the one who making sure you go to school. I'm the one who making sure you got clothes on your back. I'm the one that's taking care of you. And you gonna tell me that nigga's the pillar? The one who don't even know that you allergic to peanuts? Nigga, are you serious? The way I would have snapped in that car and backhanded the shit out of him would have been insane. I would have literally reached over and popped the shit out of him. Okay, well, since he the pillar, get the fuck out of my car and tell him to pick you up. You can walk. This why I know I'm not ready to be a parent. I'm not ready to be a parent. And I know I'm not. Because that conversation, it was just way too much disrespect for me. Just way too much. We're at Tisha and Ken's place. Lord Jesus, give me the strength. The notes on this scene is so much. My God. I'm going to try to get through this as fast as I can. They're getting ready for Zaria's first competition of the season. Tisha says that she wants to sit in on the convo with Marquez, and she also invited Sharon. So not only do you want to sit in on the conversation with Marquez, why? You don't even vibe with him like that. Y'all get into arguments every single time. Why not just like Ken handle this so they can get things cleared and y'all don't have to argue? And why the hell did you invite Sharon? Obviously, it's because you enjoy watching Ken and Marquez argue with each other. You want to make sure that during this conversation, nothing truthfully gets resolved. You don't want that. You don't want that. That's why you invited Sharon, and that's why you are also sitting in on this. Because if it's a conversation that he was supposed to just have with Ken one-on-one, why would you just not let the man who's running the family, the head of the family, because this is his family, why wouldn't you just let him handle it and establish those boundaries? But that's too much like right. So Ken lets us know that he wants to establish boundaries with Ken, right? So with Marquez. So Marquez rings the doorbell and then walks into the house. I'm like, didn't you learn from the last time? Why are you walking into people's houses? Now, I heard him say the production be telling him to do that, and that could be the case. I don't know. But why are you doing this? Child, not Ken, but Marquez and Tisha, they're terrible. They're terrible. Ken says, okay, so we know why we really here. We really here to, try to establish the boundaries. Marquez says, can I get a drink? Where my drink at? Sir, why are you asking for a drink why do you think you are going to get a drink? What's wrong with this nigga? This man is insane. This man is insane. Why on earth would you think they would get you a drink when the last time you came over there, you and Tisha got into a heated argument? Why would you think a drink would be available to you? But then again, I also have to take into consideration that he thought that he was going to be talking to Ken by himself. And they was gonna have a brother-to-brother conversation. Ken was gonna sit him down on the couch while they was alone, fix him a nice, warm, tall drink, and they was gonna be able to come to some type of resolution. I don't know. This is ridiculous, y'all. So Ken says that they want to establish boundaries. Marquez says they should have been establishing boundaries 2 to 3 years ago when they got together, and that's his fault. He says that the boundaries should have been established before anybody else came into the picture. Now, what does this have to do with anything? Now, granted, do I believe that what Marquez is saying has truth to it? Yes. But do I believe that Marquez is saying it for a reason that is conducive to this conversation? Absolutely not. So, in the same vein of Marquez being petty, Tisha cuts him off while he's talking and says, we didn't need to do that because you was out of sight, out of mind. Now, look at Tisha while she's saying this out of her mouth. She's smiling because Tisha is trying to piss Marquez off. Because Marquez is easily offended with the relationship between Ken and Tisha. So she smiles while she's sitting behind Marquez, yelling this stuff, cutting him off. While she's sitting behind Ken, cutting him off, and she's low-key trying to get underneath his skin. She knows what she's doing, right? They both do. They're both terrible. They're both agonizing to deal with. I don't know how Ken does it, but it's because it's for the love of the kids, because he a weird-ass nigga. But let's continue, child. So Marquez goes into the blow up from the last episode and says that he was just coming to drop off his daughter, and they just met him with hostility. Tisha cuts him off once again. Doesn't even let him get the sentence out, and says, you walked into my house uninvited. Okay, we've established that. We've established that. Like, I understand that needs to be said, but you could let him finish the sentence. Cutting somebody off on top of so y'all, I want to be clear here when I say this. Ken had no right to walk into this woman's house unannounced. He had no right to do that. But The fact of you constantly cutting him off in the middle of him speaking, you know, and you're doing it with a smile, with a grin. You're doing that to get underneath his skin. You're doing that to piss him off. And my question is, why? It's giving to me that you want to piss him off so he will start talking disrespectful to you. You start talking disrespectful to him, and then Ken can start to go at Marquez, and they both fighting while you sit in the back looking so pleased with yourself. Because once again, how are these things on both of their parts conducive to what they're trying to accomplish? It's not. Get me through this, Lord. Lord, I really don't have the energy for this. Maybe if I had did this on Monday, but I was tired on Monday too. I was exhausted. Girl, I'm trying to get through this. All right. All right. All right. I got this. Marquez stops addressing Tisha, and just stops looking at her at this point. And he looks at Ken and says, "Okay, boundary set. I'll call next time. I'll make sure that I don't do anything that y'all are not comfortable with, and I'll let y'all know when I come." And at this point, the conversation should have been over. At this point, after he said that, "Okay, Marquez, thank you for understanding. Please don't do that again. Thank you for coming, bro." Boundary established. But no, for some reason, this conversation is continuing. Ken don't stop the conversation there after Marquez says that. Ken says, the problem is that you talking about the boundaries like we ask you to do something that's out of the norm. I wouldn't just walk into your house. Okay, Ken. The nigga said that he gonna follow the damn boundary. What are we talking about? Why do you feel like you want to reprimand this nigga like he a kid? He told you okay. He said he will call. He says he won't walk in no more. And based on what you and Tisha really said, that was the issue. Because he ain't never did that before. What is this? Why is this conversation continuing? It should just end right here. But Ken, you have a habit of wanting to talk to Marquez like he your damn child. I don't know if it's because you niggas be in the gym with big ass buff muscles. Y'all think y'all everybody damn daddy, but you're not. You're not. Ken, you're not his dad. You can't reprimand him. Set your boundaries. And if the nigga disrespect the boundaries, again, knock his ass out. Call the police. Throw his ass out. But to sit here and expect this man, this grown-ass man, the same age as you and Tisha, to sit while you talk down to him like he your damn kid and tell him how he shouldn't be upset about the boundary he just agreed to. Bitch, he just said he agreed to it, period. You shouldn't care about how he feeling about it. Just make sure the nigga do it. My God. It can all be so simple. Ken, I really don't like you nigga either. So in the midst of them having that conversation, Trish walks up because she goes and hears a doorbell. Obviously, it's Sharon. Sharon is coming. Sharon arrives in the house. Why is Sharon here? I don't know. Why is Sharon here? Obviously, it's to piss off Marquez. You know damn well you wasn't even supposed to be at this meeting, which is why you said you're going to sit in on the conversation that Ken was supposed to be having with Marquez. And not only are you going to sit in on it, but you're also going to invite a bitch he don't even know to hear y'all reprimand him about boundaries and about being a parent. Are y'all fucking crazy? Anybody would get defensive if that was to happen. Because I feel like, okay, now I'm being ganged up on. So not only is it a whole fucking camera crew here, America's watching, Sharon here, Trisha here, it's only supposed to be me and you. I'm going to get defensive. I'm going to get defensive. And that's exactly what Trisha wanted. Oh my gosh. So Marquez goes on to say that he didn't just walk into the house. He says that he walked in after his daughter opened the door because she had 3 bags and 2 drinks in her hand. He wasn't going to let her carry all of that in her hand by herself. He says he don't care if it's his house, the mama house, the daddy house, the uncle house. He going to make sure that his daughter is getting the stuff all taken in, not by herself, I guess. So I don't understand it. Then Trisha, once again, in the midst of him talking to Ken, cuts him off and says, well, you should have been at the doorstep. Girl, I'm trying to make it through this. I'm really trying. I am trying my best to get myself through this. Okay, so after he says what he says, Trisha cuts him off and says, you could have been at the doorstep. And he says, well, you could have handled it differently. And he says, no. And she says, no, I couldn't have. No, I couldn't have, because you ain't never did that before. That doesn't even make sense. That does not make sense. That does not make sense, Trisha, what you're saying. You could have handled that better. You could have not initiated with him. You could have not initiated that. Not initiated. You couldn't have joined him in on that argument that he was wanting. You could have bypassed all of that, but you wanted to do that. You let him get underneath your skin because for some reason y'all are still in love with fighting with each other. I don't understand it. But to be fair, Marquez, let's talk about this. Let's be fair here. If you truthfully came in to take your motherfucking daughter bags in, why didn't you leave right after that? Why? You could have brought the bags in, walked right out. Period. Says, I just wanted to come in here to bring in my daughter bags. My bad. I didn't mean to just walk in. Walk out. You could have did that. But no. You decide to walk in to her house and ask her and her friend, do they have any questions for you since they talking about you? First of all, it's her motherfucking house. And if she wants to have a private conversation about you, she can. Truth be told, you didn't even have to have any interactions with either one of them. You started a lot of that yourself. And to be truthful, Trisha, you wasn't even upset when a nigga walked in anyway. Either that or you were just quiet, holding in the anger. But it to me seemed that Sharon was more upset than you were. So it's really crazy to me how you were so upset now, because you were really calm at the beginning until he started getting into it with Sharon, which was partially on Sharon's fault because Sharon shouldn't have even been that hostile with him anyway. But he shouldn't even came to y'all to even have a conversation. The nigga should have been in the house and out the house if it was all about his daughter. But he wanted to come in and create some bullshit. And Sharon jumped in and decided to argue with him when it was supposed to be you. He wanted to argue with you, not Sharon. That's what he's saying to me. I'm almost done. Almost. I'm almost done. It's an hour and 23 minutes. I'm going to try to get this done within an hour and 30. All right. So Marquez gets up and says, you want to know what? Sharon, I apologize. Nice to meet you. I am Marquez. Would you like a drink? Would you like to sit down? So this nigga want to be a comedian. Y'all, I really can't. Like you trying to be a comedian, you trying to be funny, and you sitting here talking about your kids are traumatized. Like, I know that a lot of people was probably giggling at that shit, but to me, I'm like, this ain't really funny. Because y'all doing all of this back and forth, y'all kids are gonna see this. If you care so much about them. It's real sad, to be fair. So Marquez asked Tisha, well, why did you try to assassinate my character? Tisha says, I don't care about any of that. That's in the past. At the end of the day, it's all about the kids and what the kids gonna need. So unless we talking about the kids, I really don't care. And then he says, well, you should care because it affects our children. See, you don't care about the kids because if you did, you would care. See, and that's another thing that you niggas like to do. Y'all really like to interlock y'all relationship with the mama on the kids. At the end of the day, if you did what you needed to do as a fucking father and just take your kids when you need to take them, to spend some time with them, like have minimal conversation with Tisha outside of picking up and dropping off your motherfucking kids, y'all wouldn't have anything to deal with. But no, you and Tisha like to argue like this. Y'all like that. Y'all both like to traumatize y'all kids. Like Tisha was traumatizing y'all son last episode, bringing him into an argument. And Sharon finally got some fucking sense. I don't know if it's because of that or because she started feeling the charismatic energy of fucking Marquez, but now her ass very, very soft-spoken towards Marquez than she was last episode. And she's saying, you know, it's between the both of y'all. It's the relationship between the two of y'all. So Marquez says that the kids are affected by this. And Ken says, no, they not. Like he says, first of all, stop bringing the kids into this. I'm gonna tell you, like I tell Trish all the time, stop bringing the kids in this. Excuse the fuck out of me. Is this, bitch? Are you okay? Number one, I don't give a fuck what you telling Trish. I don't give a fuck what you telling her. Bitch, I'm gonna bring my kids into whatever I want to bring my kids into. Now, should he be doing that? No. But what you won't be doing is telling me what the fuck I cannot bring my kids in or out of. Are you okay? And then Ken goes on to say, you know, the kids are not affected. He says they ain't traumatized. He says, does Xavier miss having a certain relationship with you? The relationship you mean is a father. That's what you mean. And it's very weird that you don't want to say that. And once again, it makes me side-eye the fuck out of you. You could have easily said, you know, does Xavier miss having his biological father in his life? Absolutely. But for you to minimize it to a certain relationship, like this nigga is a stranger or a family fucking friend, is insane to me. Like, am I the only one that caught that when he says a certain relationship with you? Once again, another dig. All three of y'all bitches are fucked up. All three of y'all. I feel like I'm whacking everybody. And y'all, I don't have the energy for this tonight. Usually only whack 1 to 2 people in a scene. But for me to have to whack Ken, Tisha, Marquez back to back to back, bitch, I can't even keep up with the names I'm talking about at this point. Bitch, I am tired. And if I'm this tired, bitch, I can't even understand how y'all not tired of this. I'm exhausted. And this y'all reality. So he says, Xavier would like a certain relationship with you, but they not hurt. Marquez says, Trish, you traumatizing these kids. And Sharon cuts in and says, well, y'all both are traumatizing the kids, if I'm being fair. And Ken says they are not traumatized. I can assure you they aren't. Marquez says, nigga, you can't assure me of anything. And Ken, these kids are traumatized. I don't give a fuck what you think. I don't give a fuck what you think, Ken. I'm letting you know from personal experience. I'm gonna have to pause once again to tell y'all my own personal business. One day, while I was visiting my home in Las Vegas, right? Now, I didn't grow up with my biological father in my life, right? I went through life. I never really had him in my life like that. Now, towards when I turned like 16, 17, he ended up coming into my life and I spent some time with him, but he wasn't really in my life like that. Mind you, I went to go visit my hometown after I was already in the military. So at this point, I'm around like 21, 22, 5 years later. And my dad says, he wants to have, a lunch with me, right? And I'll go and have lunch with him, right? And I just felt the need because for a long time, I just felt like I never could forgive him, for not being in my life. I thought I was over it, but I just felt the need to close this chapter of my life and just say, I forgive you, no hard feelings or whatever like that. Y'all, I couldn't get it out. I couldn't get the first 2 words out and I burst into tears. When I tell you I was hyperventilating crying. Like I had never cried like that. And I was shocked at myself because I was like, what the fuck is this coming from? Because I never once felt like I was just emotionally enthralled in my dad not being in my life like that. I didn't feel like I was just walking around my life like I wish my biological father was there. Like I was not thinking that. But when I had this conversation with him and I tried to give him, and like, you know what? I used to feel like real weird about you because you wasn't in my life. I could not get a word out without bursting into tears. Because underneath all of that, what I thought was, just like me just not really meaning anything, I had trauma. I had resentment. I had anger. I had hurt. And it was just all pouring out. So when you say that the kids are not hurt, the kids are not traumatized, I know that you think that this is your family, and it could be true, and that is your family. But what you cannot do, no matter how hard you try, is replace the feeling of having your biological father there. And they will always want that. Or a part of them will always wish that they had that. It will. So you could try to minimize what these kids are feeling or what these kids are going through to try to make it seem as if you can replace and just move all of the feelings that they have for Marquez out of their minds and replace it with yourself. That you can't do that. And that's why you a fucking weirdo. I told y'all this story to let y'all know that regardless on what you think, regardless on what the father thinks, the stepdad thinks, even the kid themselves think, there's trauma there. There's abandonment there. That's hurt. There's pain in that. Because you feel like, am I not good enough for my dad to want to be here? And it's very dumb of you to say that, Ken. And it's very weird and it's very creepy and it's very, I don't like it. For you to minimize the kids' feelings about Marquez being gone in their life is it's almost like you're trying to say, you know, they don't miss you like that. They got me now. And I'm always there. Child, okay. Okay, Ken. If they were not that affected by this, they wouldn't be telling their dad that they were. Because obviously they're communicating to Marquez that they are feeling, you know, traumatized, that they are feeling angry, hurt about the dynamic that's happening before them. They are. And then you gonna say, I assure you the kids are not. Can't, like, where do you come off? And then on top of that, Marquez is gonna say, you can't assure me of anything when it comes to my kids. You can't assure me of anything. And then he says, but I'm the one that's there. I'm the one that's going to the parent-teacher conferences. I'm the one that's going to the dance recital. I'm active. I'm here. You're saying it like, are you saying it because that's something that you actually want to do? Or are you saying it to throw it in his face and to also get brownie points? And then Marquez is gonna say, okay, we talking about the past. I thought we all worked through that. Well, see, it's kind of weird how you two motherfuckers always want to throw the past back in my face when y'all want to disrespect me as a parent, completely stopping the understanding that now I'm here and I want to be there for my children. So it's all about the past when y'all want to make a point and when y'all want to disrespect this man. Y'all in the background, Trish is she's just so happy. You just love seeing these two niggas fight over you, huh? You love that. Is this making you feel better, Trish? You feel better about yourself? You're a good mom. You letting this random nigga who you only knew for 2 years tell you that your kids ain't going through anything? The father, the biological father of your kids is saying that the kids are texting him. You're not gonna ask about what are they saying? How can like let's try to go to family counseling, anything? You just gonna let this nigga say that your kids ain't going through shit? You don't find that a little weird that you're allowing this? Girl. So Ken says they may be your kids, but this is my family. This is my family. They your kids, but this my family. On some real shit. I'm here. I'm the consistent parent. I'm the real dad. I'm always there. I'm going to the football with Alex. I'm going to the dance. Are you going to the dance recital tomorrow? Are you going to the dance competition tomorrow? Marquez is like, nigga, yeah. Didn't I give you $500? You know, at this point, Marquez, like Ken is saying, $500? That ain't shit. What the fuck you mean? What's $500? Oh, so now $500 ain't shit. Put a one in the chat if $500 is something, because to me it is. Please give me the 500, Ken. Please give me. If you don't need it like that, give it to me, bitch. I can put that on the light bill. Please. If it ain't nothing to you, I am very well gauged in the dance world, majorette world, and I know that shit be costing around, let's say, 11, 12, sometimes up to $1,700 a year. So if you the dad and he's the other dad and Tisha is the other parent, he damn near just paid a third of it. And now y'all two have to pay the half, unless you're just paying it all for yourself. So you could say it, I'm paying for it all. Child, at this point, they get into the whole divorce thing. He says, you know, you just a live-in boyfriend. You just a live-in boyfriend. You know, then he says, and let's talk about the divorce. Let's talk about the divorce. In the divorce, you put in there that we didn't have no minor kids. Child, Tisha runs into her room or runs to wherever the paper is because it's sitting there at the ready. Like they were ready for him to bring it up. Like they were ready for him to mention it. Like it's something that they went back and fixed. Like, oh, I already knew he was gonna bring up no kids being on the divorce papers, but here it is, the kids on the divorce papers. Why was that so at the ready? That was weird to me. But needless to say, they pull out the paper and they say, look, it says it right here. It says it right here. Xavier and Zaria says it right here. Like, first of all, Ken, calm the fuck down because it's really not that fucking deep. You're not pissed off about this. You're pissed off about him saying that you're just a living boyfriend because you're truthfully mad that she hasn't married you yet. But I'm going to let you know, even if you get the divorce, she won't marry your weird ass. So, let's not. Oh, this video going to take me so long to edit. Oh, it's an hour and 40 minutes. Oh my God, it's gonna take me forever to edit this. Child, y'all might not get a recorded video from this live. I don't think I can do it. Y'all might just have to catch me on the next one. Catch me on the next one. Hopefully it's less strenuous. I don't know. But like Ken starts getting up because he's feeling irate. And then Marquez starts to get up. Ken's gonna tell him to sit down and he gonna sit down. He says, I'm not sitting down. Ken says, you can sit down. I'm sitting down. Like, who are you talking to? Why do you keep on talking to people like they your damn children? Who are you supposed to be? Why do you think that you scaring people? So he says, I'm not getting up. I'm not sitting down. So he says, you can sit down or I'm gonna put you out. How about that? I'm gonna put you out. And he starts to get up. He was like, hey, y'all need to get this big bufferino ass nigga. And he was like, what? Nobody got to get me. So at this point, they holding him back. And Trish is behind him like, Ken, stop. Stop it, Ken. Oh my God, no. Stop it. Like, no, don't do that. Don't do it, Ken. No. Bitch, this is exactly what you wanted. This is exactly what you wanted, bitch. And that's the end of the episode, y'all. I that's all I got for y'all. Listen, I want to thank y'all so much for watching. I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in to the live. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and let everybody know about your boy. Okay. And most importantly, I want y'all to know that if nobody told you today that you are loved, I love you, okay? And most importantly, outside of that, I want you to know that y'all need to love yourselves, okay? Know that you have purpose. Know that you are meant to be here. Know that your life has meaning to it. And take the time while you have it now to explore that and find out what that is. You know, drink water. And love yourself more so you don't end up in a three-way fucking want to be bisexual, but they not admitting to it throuple relationship. You know, like you know, we don't want that. But y'all be easy. I hope you guys have a beautiful, beautiful rest of y'all night. And I plan on doing the same. Okay, y'all. Peace.